This is Greg Troutwine with Offshore Engineer TV, and we're here again with Philip Lewis, Director of Research for Intelatus, to discuss the emerging and prospects of the offshore floating wind market. So, Phil, to start us off, a lot is spoken about floating wind, but can you just give us some of the high-level numbers just to give a size and a shape to the emerging market?
Sure, Greg. No, thanks, and good to be back. Well, yeah, it is a market that's talked about a lot at the moment, a lot of excitement about there. But I think we do need to understand it a bit better, and that's why we spend a bit of time really drilling down into it to get the numbers and sort of. So what you've asked is, what are the numbers? So, I mean, it's small today. I mean, you're only talking 200 megawatts at the end of 2020. And to put that in context, global offshore wind capacity was around 60 gigawatts, or 60,000 megawatts at the end of 2020. So floating wind is starting from a comparatively very, very small base. We forecast that that the capacity for, grid connection of floating wind will reach about 61 gigawatts by 2035. So it'll reach the level in 2035 that the bottom fixed market reached at the end of 2030, but it'll do that in a much quicker time. What that translates to in terms of spend, you're talking about global capex of over $250 billion through 2035 in floating wind farms for the supply chain. There's the bit that we're particularly interested in, which is the supply chains and the floating installation market, which we go into in our report on installation vessels we just put out. And this ranges for a vessel owner and contractor, from a pure T&I scope, transportation installation, to the full EPCI, engineering, procurement, construction, installation scope of works, amounting to, our forecast is 28 billion to 145 billion. That's a range depending on the low T&I scope to the full EPCI scope in the full forecast period. So for contractors, there's actually a quite significant opportunity.